Robert, tell us some of your background and why you think you would be the best counselor to work with.
So I was born and raised here in the local Waterloo area, and growing up my entire life in this area, I know this area quite well. I mean, I've lived on Mason Street for 9 years. And the other thing is too, I mean, I'm also a student and I also work full time. So I understand the pressures of not only trying to balance a full-time academic career, but also going to work every day. The thing that you need to know about me is there's nothing flashy about me, there's nothing polished about me, but when it comes to getting results, my friends have always said I get things done, and if it's the truth I say it, and if it's not I don't.
Now, you mentioned you're a student. What program are you in?
I'm taking general business at Cumberland College.
And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I am 27.
Why do you think you have a chance of winning the seat?
Well, if nothing else, everything I've seen and everything I've read in the papers is this riding or this ward wants something different.
Yeah.
And people I've talked to, a lot of students don't even know who their city councilor is. And for me, I understand that the city councilor in some ways has the job to do it, but on the other hand, I think it's a little bit of his responsibility to go out and meet students. So whether it's talks on the local or East Campus or Waterloo, or even just, you know, once every 6 months having a get to know you event in the local ward.
Now, two major issues important to students are one, transportation, and number two, student housing. Now we'll start with transportation. As Councilor Ward 6, what type of platform would you put out there for transportation in council?
The biggest thing is they've made a lot of good progress on the bike infrastructure, but I think they can always do more. Because one thing that just always drives me crazy is when you want to go somewhere and the roads are plugged, and then they have parking more than what they need. For me, it's not to say that people shouldn't own cars, but they should have it that before you go somewhere in your vehicle, you go, okay, do I really need to make this trip, or can I get on the bus? Can I bike? Can I walk? Can I do something else to get out of the bus?
How about in terms of, say, what are your thoughts on the LRT, or what would you like to see expanded in the future of the region?
Well, the LRT, I'm 125% for it. When it comes to the problems that Greenwood Transit per se is facing, is that most of the people that need it, for example, the low income, the disadvantaged, is when it's getting priced up to $3 pop, it's getting unaffordable. And so for me, somewhere, if I could at least bring it up, it'd be like, okay, can we come up with sponsorship revenue? Can we come up with, you know, some creative way to wrap a bus? Anything to try to get the cost down so that people can actually afford to ride the bus.
Okay. Now, we're talking about transportation. Let's move on to housing, specifically student housing. There's a lot of tenant-landlord relationships in this ward. One of them being Columbia One. And I'm sure you've heard of the fiasco at Columbia One. If you were counselor, what would you do different than the current counselor, or what would you do similarly, or what would you change?
Well, the biggest thing I would do with the whole fiasco per se is that well, first of all, with the rental bylaw, I think I would have put more pressure on that delinquent landlord and said, look, you have 5 houses or 6 houses in this area, and this one's a disaster. So let's see if you can up your game and at least do good customer relations. And if you don't, instead of having the University of Waterloo students go to the people that help them at Waterloo, I would have been involved and said, look, here's how you get out of your leases, here's how you do the things you need to do, because for me, all the emphasis of trying to sell the city of Waterloo to the world, that's all great and good, but if we have people that are coming here for their first year, and they're turning out to something like this, that's not an image we want to portray at all.
Now, do you think the current councilor or the mayor have done enough to, pressure Mr. Shembri into, either speeding up construction or finding more suitable accommodations for students that have been affected by this?
Well, the problem is right now, as I see it, is the mayor, she's on her victory lap, so she's pretty much done. And like I said, the guy I'm running against is in full-time campaign mode. But from what I've seen is he's not really connecting with the students. He's trying to find his core group, whoever they are, and get them on the vote. And if it happens to be the students, that's great and good, but if it's not, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. You mentioned that you're a student and you understand the ward,
yes.
The demographics of the ward. Do you think that's your biggest asset that you bring to
I would definitely say so.